Hey everybody, it's Bust with Busted Strategies number 30. Happy Friday out there for everyone if you watch the videos as they come out. And I couldn't decide today if I wanted to jump into limited or constructed. I do kind of like the idea of posting a video on the deck in constructed we've been playing each week before your weekend starts, whether or not if that's something you want to pick up for Friday Night Magic or whatever variety of tournaments show up on the weekend. But I've been kind of more interested in just pushing our limited up into mythic, and so I'm going to just jump back into constructed today. I might put together a quick constructed video on the teamer ramp deck that we've been playing in constructed this week, and just post it on the site. Not make much of a fuss about it on the old YouTube, but we'll see if I have the time for that kind of thing. But nonetheless, I would expect limited to be coming at you for the next few days, and let's just go ahead and jump on in. Pay them gems, see them cards, see what shows up. Curse of Silence, not exactly what we're looking for here. So this is a pretty weak pack. There's no big bombs in it. Curse of Silence is just not limited playable. We're not seeing any big blue cards. That's kind of the easy way to start. Like realistically, the only card in this pack I'm like excited about would be Clear Shot, and then the card I'm kind of okay with is Beloved Beggar. There's a lot of decks where Beloved Beggar is quite good, mainly in blue white Disturb or white black. It's okay. It's a decent sacrifice target, but this is abysmally terrible in green white or white red, and so. Not real excited about it, but Clear Shot is very good in every green deck. Doesn't matter if we're playing Werewolves or Simic or what. And then if we are in something like Simic, this is the premier, excuse me, and only removal spell. And so it can be quite important in quite a few decks. I assure you, I don't come out here and just try to draft Simic in every single draft, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes as we come out here and just take the Falcon Abomination. No, let me take a bigger look into these. The card I'm mainly interested in here is Ecstatic Awakener. Green black, not a particularly exciting archetype, but it is serviceable. Otherwise, if we're looking to pair everything with Clear Shot, we do have access to Festival Crashers, but the Festival Crashers prefer to be in something like blue-red. If we're playing green-red, we really want our focus to be on the Werewolves, and then the Festival Crashers it's fine. It's an okay card, but it tends to be more in the filler category. And so I think we're just going to move in with the Ecstatic Awakener. We're not, really locked into anything at this point. It plays fantastically amongst all the black decks, and happy enough to add this to our pile. Okay, interesting set. So as we say, we're not going to draft Simic. There is the Winterthorn Blessing, which I am just a humongous fan of. I think this is a fantastic card. If we're looking to remain more towards the black side of things, we have the Dreadhound, Hobbling Zombie, Shady Traveler package. I'm leaning more towards the Dreadhound as far as these cards go. Just kind of get the big bruiser out of the way as early as we can. But I think I'm looking to just pick up the Winterthorn Blessing and see how this shakes out. Maybe maybe we just end up in Simic again. Who knows? Alrighty. Yeah, it seems reasonable enough to continue on into green with the Hound Tamer. I'm a huge fan of this as one of the better green uncommons. Just lets us fill in the curve nicely with this 3/3. The trample ability is super relevant on both the front and the backside. If we end up in werewolves, having these turning our big boys into trample boys is quite strong. And then this +1/+1 counter effect is quite good. So I'm leaning towards the Hound Tamer. It is just much more powerful than coming in and taking our second Awakener or a big game closer in the Blood Tithe Collector. I'm happy to come in and pick this one up. Okay, so here we go. Here's a weak one. Nothing too exciting out of this pack. The green cards we want nothing to do with. The blue card is bad in Shipwreck Sifters, and so it's kind of like an interesting space, right? I don't think we can ever take Flesh Taker here. We're never going. I shouldn't say we're never going to be in white black, but. I think the Hound Tamer Clear Shot are strong enough to make me not want to just like abandon ship on these green cards. And so that kind of breaks it down to like, do we want to build towards green black? where we would take the Novice Occultist, or do we want to stay a little bit more open, maybe draft green-red and go for the Astronomer? And I'm going to go for the Astronomer here. I think this is a fantastically powerful unit. It's really strong in the early game, especially if your opponent just doesn't have a bear. Like if we're on the play and we play the Astronomer on 2, then the opponent doesn't have a card. We get this big time loot if we want, and then it's still good in the late game as well. Turn 6, turn 7, we can skip playing a card to maybe discard 2 land and draw 2 cards. Just a all around pretty powerful card. Okay. Well, I could see ourselves moving into werewolves. The Fangblade Brigand is quite strong. This is one of the stronger 4 and 5 drops we can have in the set. I love that this just really helps us come out here and flesh out our mana. And then on the flip side, giving the 2+2 attack to your team can be a nice game closer as well. So it feels okay. I feel like we're reasonably well positioned to jump into green-red if these cards are going to make an appearance. Here we could continue with the Contortionist Troupe. This is this +1/+1 ability can be quite strong, where it's passing around the counters if we have a coven. I think I feel safe enough not passing on the Unblinking Observer. This would be quite good if we are playing in blue-green, but I think we're just leaning more towards green-red here, and I would prefer to just stay open with the Troupe. So if we, open some big mythic in the second pack out that's green-blue or green-black, then we still have kind of our options open as far as that's concerned. Second Flamebrain Brigand looks good. There is the Startle, but I think we're getting farther and farther away from blue-green and deeper into green-red. Okay, interesting set. I don't like Timberland Guide, but he's reasonable filler. I do want to kind of come out here and make sure that we pay a bit of attention to our mana curve, and so I want to have the Timberland Guide just in case. There is the Evolving Wilds here, but I think I'm okay to let it go. We wield the Festival Crashers. Good. It's better than Timberland Guide. I'm happy enough to pick up and Abandon the Post. There are decent blue cards here, right? There is the Geist Wave, but well, maybe we just take the Geist Wave. We can pick up and Abandon the Post if we want, like right here. I think we'll just go with the Pax Betrayal, though. Okay. Reasonable set of cards. Not a bad first pack. Give the kitty some pets to hopefully improve our open and see what we get here. And it looks like Play with Fire is fine. It's not super high valued, but it's okay. The down here in the potentially wheelable cards, we all have the only red ones. Maybe we'll get a Lambolt Harrier back out of this. This is one of the. It's not super strong, but it's like a 20th card as opposed to a 23rd card where like Timberland Guide is. Much rather have the Harrier than Timberland Guide in a deck like this. So we're taking the Play with Fire, maybe the Harrier with table. Okay. So interesting. It's not the strongest of packs. I'm looking again towards the Contortionist Troupe. Any board stall that you run into, this is quite good. Even if you only get to play this as a 1/1 on like turn 2, you can potentially get some +1/+1 counters quickly after turn 2. And playing it in the late game is quite nice. You have to make this like a 6/6 or a 7/7, also quite good. So we are passing on the Eccentric Farmer. We aren't missing out on too much. I'm actually hoping we get this Stolen Vitality back on the wheel, but we could potentially end up with Raise the Festival as well. It's not super exciting, but it is a reasonable combat trick. All right, well, Fangblade Brigand number 3, I guess. Welcome to the team. Not a lot to choose from in that pack. Just all around pretty weak. These packs have not been good to us. I don't know if this is probably just like a weak set of cards. There's a lot of weak stuff in green-red, but not really amped about the cards we're being offered up. I think we just come in and take the Falconwrath Perforator. Let me clean up the deck here a little bit. I think we're pretty firmly into green-red. Timberland Guide, you can come back. Winterthorn Blessing, you're coming out. Okay, I like to move the spells over here to the end. Lets us get a little better picture of the creatures. Pax Betrayal not really wanting to play. Okay, so Contortionist Troupe, let's be real, you're like a 5-drop. You can come down here to expensive land. And so, okay, now that we've got this sorted out a little bit, we have a few options. We don't have any like combat tricks at this point. I'm not a huge fan of Howl of the Hunt. It is playable. We are getting the wolf, like werewolf thing together, but I'm hoping to wheel some of those stolen vitalities. And so I don't want to jump out of our way to take this. Yeah, it's looking to me like either the Perforator or the Stinger. I don't really love the Stinger. But if we do have like a couple of Coven cards up to this point to where having a one attack unit can be quite important, I think we could just go with the Perforator. But the Perforator tends to just like trade with everything. I feel like if we don't have vampire themes, we're not really going to want this. Like if we can't like attack and trade and deal a point of damage and then activate the vampire damage abilities, I think we probably just take the Stinger here. It's a little bit better defensively as well. Okay, so our girl Bird Admirer is here, but we'll look to pick those up a little bit later. I'm looking towards the Brimstone Vandal. This is a little bit better in an aggressive deck since it has the Menace. We are passing on a duel for dominance to pick this up, but our removal is kind of okay at this point. Maybe we should be picking up our first duel for dominance before we pick up one of these fillery cards like the Vandal. 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't remember how this leans up. Only 2 cards coming back. Maybe get Turn the Earth on the wheel. I'm not really excited about it, but it could potentially happen. Okay, well, here we're going to pick up the Festival Crashers. Just, again, another really weak pack for us. Felt like things were going reasonably well pack 1, and then pack 2 we've just been getting kind of punished with everything. Alrighty, well, Neonate's Rush it is. We're locked in. I guess at some point we could have looked to switch into green-white, but I don't think the cards were ever there for it. Okay, well, let's see. Then we get 8th pick Harvesttide Sentries, and so I think it was just a weak set of cards is all we ran into here. Let's continue with the Neonate's Rush. Still pretty reasonable card. Our Stolen Vitality did wheel. Perfect for me. We don't need things like Tavern Ruffian, right? We already have 3 4-drops in our deck, and these Fangblade Brigands are leagues better than Tavern Ruffians, and so we're not missing anything by not taking that. Okay, we'll take the uncommon for the collection boosting, and then I'm okay to pass Abandon the Post. I do like to find decks to where we can play Pax Betrayal and Abandon the Post, and these do shoot up a bit in value. And as we have this deck with like the double Festival Crasher, I mean, we could look to just try and take advantage of these Festival Crashers. Because I don't really want to play Timberland Guide. And I think we can like safely consider that, right? We've got 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just make sure. I want to be getting ourselves up to like 8 2-drops or so. All right, so Turn the Earth we're not going to play. Tapping at the window, we're not going to play. What do we have here? And there's another reasonably weak one. There is the Celestus. We've been passing on the things like Evolving Wilds, and so I don't think we're ever really going to be able to come out here and splash. But nothing real bruisery or werewolfy, bruisery or werewolfy as terms go in this pack. So we'll just pick up the Obsessive Astronomer. It's still pretty reasonable 2-drop. Not a hater of the Astronomer. Then here, another weak set for us. We have to keep saying it over and over again. But the Harvesttide Sentry, quite good. One of the premier 2-drops of the format. I like the aggressiveness that we're starting to get together here. Okay, and then as we have to pass on 3rd pick Organ Hoarders, what do we feel about this? There's the 3rd Contortionist Troupe, which I can get behind, especially if we're trying to be kind of aggressive out here. If we're putting together these boards to where we have both a Festival Crasher and a Harvesttide Sentry on it, it's pretty easy to hit a Coven at that point and start spreading out the counters. Otherwise, I don't feel like we're missing out on too much. I don't really like Burn the Accursed. And then we could be looking towards Bounding Wolf, just in the sense we only have 1 3-drop at this point, but I think I'm on board with the Troupe. Just a lot more raw power out of this, and if you're getting like 2 troops going on the board, that can be quite powerful. All right, this is brutal. This is a weak pack in general, but we're just stuck with the Lambbolt Harrier. I mean, the only green-red playable cards are the Harrier and the Pestilent Wolf, and I would rather have the more aggressive Creature Can't Block style ability. Okay, well, Outlander Liberator is great. Nice early game werewolf with a relevant ability. And just nothing. Come on, game. Come on. All right, well, we'll take the uncommon, I guess. Brutal. Well, here, Might of the Old Ways will be fine. Pick ourselves up another combat trick. Just nothing. Insane. All right, Jack-o'-lantern it is. Yeah, this is Abandon the Post we've been talking about playing. We'll put it over here in the I haven't cut you just yet pile and see if we can't perhaps play that one today. Timberland Guide number 3 and the Pestilent Wolf. Yeah, that was weird. That was just a really weak pack 2 and pack 3. I don't know if the bots are just, really into kind of like spreading out the archetypes or what they forced themselves into there, but it felt like we had a really fantastic pack 1 and then pack 2 and pack 3 just didn't really do it for us. So let's see. I want to check this out as well. I was bitching about how these cards line up the other day, and one of the old viewers, who was this Greenium, said we could type T:/CR into the search thing. Let me see what that does. Oh, snap. Look how beautiful that is. Getting to spread out our lands and our spells. Appreciate that. Quite nice. I guess does it stick around? No, but that's okay. That's okay. T:/CR. Oh, we need to do it this way. T:/CR. Okay. Alrighty. Good. And so, yeah, I mean, our curve looks decent at this point, right? I'm pretty happy with all of this. Some of these creatures are going to have to go. Like, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 20 creatures. So we got to get this down to about 16 or so. So let's at least start with that and take out some of these cards. I mean, we're just not really interested in playing. Like Timberland Guide, we don't really want. Pestilent Wolf, we don't really want. And then we can stop right there. That's a reasonable start. A lot of these, 2-drops are quite powerful between Crashers, Astronomers, Sentries, and Liberators. The Harrier's kind of meh, but it's a decent late game play. As far as these spells go, I am kind of interested in playing either a Abandon the Post or a Pax Betrayal. I don't really want the Neonates Rushes in this deck. It is, kind of interesting with the double Festival Crashers, but it's going to be a little bit expensive for us since we can't really cheapen it up. But that does leave us. I don't want to play both Abandon the Post and Pax Betrayal. I'm trying to think of which of these I'm more interested in just hanging on to. Where are we at? 16 creatures, 7 non. We can cut a land out of this deck. This is one of these decks where, I feel like I'm kind of okay with playing 17. I know that we're in best of 3 land here, but we have a ton of ways to sink off our mana between, the Fangblade Brigand, the Contortionist Troupe, and then if we want to, say, bring back in a Neonates Rush, we would have that option as well. But I think I'm kind of okay with where the things are in that term. So let's see. It's either coming down to Abandon the Post or Pax Betrayal. And it's really just kind of matchup dependent and which one we would rather have, right? If you're kind of playing against curve decks, you tend to want the Pax Betrayal since you could potentially just steal their big boy and then they don't have a lot of blockers to come in and deal with it. Or if you're playing in more against kind of go wide strategies, I prefer Abandon the Post since you can turn off a couple of tokens and get in for a big attack. But let's see. All right. Well, I think I'm just going to stick with the Abandon the Post. It's a little bit better in terms of playing well against discard. And then I want to go back to the sideboard here. I think I'm going to add in one of those Neonates Rushes. I'm not really amped about it, but it's still a reasonable card, especially in a deck with the double Festival Crashers. Okay. Looks good to me. Let's get on to battle. So yeah, this isn't a super powerful one. You're really hoping when you draft any red deck that you're just kind of siloed off from everything else. Like you're the only green-red drafter at the table or you're the only blue-red drafter at the table. Doesn't feel like we really were. I mean, it might have just been a low roll on the opens, but it felt like there was someone else taking cards away from us. But we'll see how this shakes out. I don't feel like this is a 7 winner, but I think we can definitely push this one into the 4 and the 5 win mark. All right. Not the greatest set of top decks. We really needed to kind of pick up a unit here, but see what we can do. Yeah, we still got a ton of them. We have a ton of early drops in here, so hopefully we can Pick up a bro. Give me one of them bros, I say. Sure. Discard Shipwreck Sifters. Okay. Alright, picked up a bro. Can't can't get it going with one of these removal spells though, which is a bit unfortunate. Or with one of these combat tricks. So we'll just add the Liberator and continue on. I have to suspect a opponent is going to have a spell, right? If you're playing the Shipwreck Sifters and discarding Shipwreck Sifters, you probably got more plays in hand. If you're stalled on mana, you'll probably hang on to the Sifters and try to maybe not. And so you'll probably hang on to the Sifters and try to pick up something a little bit stronger, but you got it. He's going to have something here, right? He's going to have like a Nebelgast or something along those lines, but wow, this is unexpected. I kind of want to hang on to Might of the Old Ways, but I think this is the better way to protect our unit here. Right? I'd rather be drawing the card off of the Coven. Letting this value slip away from us feels bad. Feels bad, man. Right. Okay, well. Feels like we're super far behind now. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Not bad. There's a big mana sink for the late game here. And then if we ever just pass the turn, getting the flip on the Brigand and the Liberator be quite good. F. We can always just pay a ton of mana and say this thing can't block. What else are we gonna do here? Alright, we got our first points of damage in on turn 6. Well done, well done. Hard time, okay. Doesn't feel worth it to like duel for dominance the shield geist. I feel like we can do a little bit better than that. We have to gotta get a bigger bro on board if we're gonna say things like that, but feels like we could do better. No, don't pause. I was like, flip the switch is so bad. Alright, fine. Quit highlighting my unit like you're going to do something. Revenge of the Drowned. Okay, let's put it on top. This is one of the best plays that we can achieve here. What's target creature? Fang Blade gets the 1/0 first strike. Okay. Okay. Discards an island, sure. Goes right to hand, decides that one's worth his time. Okay. Okay. We were like we're gonna come out here and just race, right? Is that where we're at with this? Like if we hit with both, takes him to 9, he swings back and takes us to 10, and then we still have this like really go wide ability with the brigand. I think that's fine. So you can't block. It's just having to pay the 5 mana to make this thing not be able to use its ability. It doesn't means that we can't use our brigand multiple times. Okay. The shield geist is monster annoying. I just want to be out here using my Harrier. Oh Jesus, Dualcraft trainer? Are you covened? Yeah. Oh, that's bad. That's scary right there. I say we are potentially scary ourselves. So I think we're good to just attack with the Eviscerator here. Well, no, we can't, right? He has 2 first strikers for 5. So we can attack with it, but we have to make something so it can't block. This is big boy. Make sure our mana didn't tap all fucky. So we want to be able to play both the Stinger and activate our Eviscerator. Okay. So hopefully this is safe. The thing that we would kind of worry about here would be a Flare of Faith. And so if he can't block with his Dualcraft trainer, the Flare of Faith becomes much less scary. Interesting. When we have the Harrier to potentially drop a lot of his stats. Okay. Right, if he wants to get in this space to where he's attacking with both of his flyers, being able to know the no block ability is kind of good, but I know we've got like the health lead here, but this one feels incredibly scary. Yeah, it's going to take us effing forever to crush through this board. He's able to come in for 6 damage in the air. Can't block a zombie here. And if he's going to continue to not attack, I feel a little bit better about it, but... Okay, I'm going to put the counter on our Brigand. I don't want to mess up our Coven. Can potentially look to attack next turn. I think we're at least like definitely attacking with the Contortionist Troupe. But... Alright, milled 2 land. Not a bad day for the Larder Zombie. Surprised he's not at least coming in with like a double striking Nebelgast Intruder. Seems like he's missing out on quite a bit of damage. Here he comes. Interesting. Okay. So again, like our big worry here is him putting 5 first strike in front of our Fangblade Brigand. We just can't really deal with that at this point. I think we're good to attack with both the Stinger and the Contortionist Troupe. So let's see what those can get in for. The Troupe should at least, you know, if he's gonna block it, take down like 3 units on the way. Bringing in the shield guys. Like we got nine mana to activate into the stinger. We can take down so much with it. And if he gets ultra clever with his blocks, we can potentially take his coven away. Did he put both? No, he's still got the larder zombie down here on the right. So we got 7 damage to deliver through this stuff, and then the one we like don't really want to kill off is the morning patrol, since it's going to just put another unit in his graveyard. But are we kind of okay with that anyways? Yeah, let's just take down the 3 units. I'd like to get ourselves built up to this space to where we can try and come through with the Lambolt Harrier making stuff unblockable. Throwing away his Nebelgeist as well. That's frightening. He's losing both of his flyers on this attack. Seems like a poor choice of game plan. Okay. Alright, our attacks just got so much better. Groundyard Amalgam, okay. All the bros right into the graveyard, dang. So, with our mana here, like, our Fangblade Eviscerator threatens lethal. So we can look to say, like, you can't block with the Amalgam or the Morning Patrol. Try and force him to trade away the Dualcraft Trainer and the Larder Zombie. Not a requirement, but something we could look to do. Try and get him to... force him to trade away his better units. It's kind of tempting, but I think what I'm looking at is just targeting the Morning Patrol with the Harrier, and then the Eviscerator should be able to just take down whatever he blocks with at that point. I think that's fine. He does have the kind of go wide ability, but it's a little bit small right now. Cool. That takes away his Coven. Like, he can get it back. He can play his Beloved Beggar to have a 4 on the board, but feels nice. I like it when things feel nice. Then we can play a 4-mana Contortionist Troupe. The big thing that lets us do is we can make the Lambolt Harrier a 3/3, and then that makes all of our units must block. Right, so say next turn, we threaten the +2/+2 ability to our team with the Fangblade Eviscerator, and so we can potentially say, like, 1 unit can't block, and then come in with everything else. Hound Tamer, do you change anything? I don't think so. So, do we want to go for that play? Like, say we say Drowned Amalgam can't block. That's not... Well, he's going to have a good block either way between the Amalgam and the Dualcraft Trainer. I don't think we want to go that route. We need another turn before we start doing that stuff. So, let's see, though. If we don't have to go, like, all in on this. We can say, like, the The amalgam can't block. And he has good blocks onto the Contortionist Troupe. Okay, we don't need to go all in like that. So let's target the amalgam. He's going to get us block in this turn with the morning patrol, but we're going to continue to get a better board. Interesting. Okay. Did we miss that? We should we have played the pup? I forgot that the flipped pup passes out trample. I don't think we could have done that there. We would have been a little bit short. But all right. We got ourselves through that one. Round 1 win. What a crazy world we live in. We don't get to do that too often. I just noticed the timer on the quick drafts as well. This might be our last day for quick drafts. I'm not really sure how I feel about these. It just feels like we should be bouncing between that like 3, 4, and 5 win area. And I really just kind of like it in premieres where 4 wins is minus 100 gems, 5 wins is plus 100 gems, and then 3 wins is probably, I think it's minus 500, but it seems like the 4 win space in these were like minus 300 or 400 or something, and it seems like if we have the gold we should do these, but I don't know. Alright, opponent, what do we have going on here? Not a super strong hand, but I don't think we can ever pass on this. We have a pretty reasonable curve into like counters from a Contortionist Troupe. All right, if we have a 1, a 2, a 3, and then we play the Troupe on turn 4. This thing's effing annoying. Alright, well you can come in for the free damage over and over again. Such a stronger air in Jadar. I assume he just doesn't attack. Oh, he does. Wow, that's aggressive. We gotta get some of this stuff out of here. Let's just be really aggressive and discard the mountain and the Harrier. We got 3 draws at another land. I think this is okay. Like, I envision this world where we play the Contortionist Troupe here. And then next turn... maybe getting in for a big chunk of damage with like a... I'm trying to get a Play with Fire Festival Crasher's turn coming together. Or this would be a nice space to pick up a... pick up what our can't block cards, whatever, abandon the post. This is so brutal. If he has a like an Olivia's Midnight Ambush, I guess that's the only one where we really get hard punished here. He has like no disincentive to attack with the zombie token, right? He's just going to get one back anyways. So what's going to happen this turn? We're going to get hit with a Revenge of the Damned. That kind of sucks. All right, but we've got like the full Festival Crasher combo in hand now, and so I think we'll try to go for it next turn. He's going to Revenge of the Damned, our Contortionist Troupe. Wow, what are you doing, my man? What are you doing? I wish we could get a little bit wider with these tokens onto the Contortionist Troupe, but kind of is what it is. Are we just dead? Do we have to stop and be like, are we just dead here? He's only coming in for 10 or 9, 8, 4, 8, 9. Yeah. Wow. I love it, man. I love what you're about. All right, so how do we win the game here? We have the two options, right? We can try to send Play with Fire to face, which is where I think we want to be. So I think where we want to be doing here, well, okay, so here's the problem, is if he has the removal spell, right? So if we say Play with Fire, then can we still win? And if he has the removal spell? Not quite sure that math adds up. I think we can be okay. Like, say he blocks Contortionist Troupe. We play Stolen Vitality on the Obsessive Astronomer. That gets us in for lethal. No, it's one short, but we can then play with fire and get to lethal. Okay, let's see what he does. If he no blocks, this is fantastic. Let's say he has to block here. And so the issue is if we say like Stolen Vitality for the trample on the Contortionist Troupe, and then he has the removal, that's still good for us though, right? Because we get in for 5. Yeah, that's a lethal. Okay. So now he has to play his removal on the Contortionist Troupe, and we can play with fire to face. No more cards, please. No more cards, please. Fuck. Alright, Captain Have-It-Alls. Jeez. But we could have done that the other way, right? We could have tried to play with fire onto the dude. Would that have gotten us there? It's still kind of in the same space to where we lose to a removal spell. That was my ultimate worry. I felt like this got us around the most things. But sometimes you have all the cards. That's how you get to Mythic, Captain Have-It-Alls. No, I'm sure you're better than us at Magic, dude, but I'm just here to bitch about it, right? That's what I get to do because I'm making the videos. Okay, so this hand kind of problematic. We don't have a 2-drop. I think we like really have to have a 1 or a 2, even if our 1-drop is just like a 1-mana Contortionist Troupe. So it's like I really want to get rid of this one. We're not doing anything with this Abandon the Post anyways. It's kind of like having 6. Okay, dudes. Get this Harvest-Tide Sentry Duel for Dominance combo. So, well, yes, I would like to 2-for-1 myself. I think we just want to play a 2/2 Troupe here. If we draw the mana next turn, we can go Covenant. I like it. I like it. Didn't draw the land, of course, but I still like the idea that we put together there. So let's just add our bigger boy to the board. This also gives us the potential to where we play like a Festival Crasher next turn and then have mana for a duel for dominance on our opponent's turn. Wow. Okay. Alright, guy. That's a mythic. We're going to get brutalized by that thing. And we have the outs to it, right? We can... I'm just going to play everything. We can... like Duel for Dominance, our Harvest-Tide Sentry. That just doesn't feel great. I think we just have to attack around it. We could also look to just say, play the Duel for Dominance on our Festival Crashers and go about it that way. Party Captain, sure. Because if we're going to be real, like his card draw ability is just not going to be relevant this game. So I think we can probably ignore that piece of the puzzle. And then we just have to try and attack around it now. We have potential to get some really good attacks here. With our Duel for Dominance, because he's not going to be able to block Harvest-Tide Sentry. We can make Festival Crasher bigger. He's not going to block with Festival Crasher, but I think this is good. Bring the party. So we want, if we put the counter onto Festival Crasher, we're still going to have the Coven at the end of our turn, right? Because he's going to be a 4 attack. Well, we can put it on the Obsessive Astronomer. And that leaves us with a 2, 3, and a 4. Okay. Might have to stop attacking with the dragon now. Neo Knight's Rush. I don't think you quite do it for us here. So let's play a 3 attack troop. Well, I mean, our Harvest-Tide Sentry attack is back to being good, right? We can attack with the Sentry. He can't block with the Vandal, so he can only block it with the Dragon. And the Dragon can't kill any of our units now. I think that's fine. Okay. Really? We did that in the backwards order? Or could we not actually do both of those? Oh, we're so fucked if we can't pass out our counters now. I thought we put the +1/+1 onto the 4. That's the... Alright, I see how we needed to do that. We needed the one on top to go to the big one so it would grow, and then the one on the bottom to go to the one on the left. That probably just lost us the game. Fuck. Successfully navigating the big challenge here. Can we do this? I mean, we don't have anything else going on. We have to take down one of these. We were good. We were good to just sit around and not do anything forever, but we don't have that option now. Right? This is a we've missed out on +3/+3 at this point. We're so super far ahead if we don't fuck that up. Okay. Brutal. Of course, we just draw a 3/3. Oh my god. Now he's able to Purifying Dragon away our Stinger. We at least have decent attacks next turn with all of our 3/3s in the Hound Tamer, but we still have decent attacks. That is frustrating. So I think we just hit with our troops here. We could potentially lose one. Maybe we just hit with the one. It's too bad otherwise. I mean, it doesn't threaten any lethal. That's the problem. So it'd be up +6 stats at this point as well. It's insane. We would have totally won this game had we not stacked that wrong. It weirds me out though, right? It's like the first one comes up on the stack and you pick a target. It's like on Magic Online, both of them would go on this, like show up at the stack at the same time, and then you pick and choose the order that they go on. Like I'm not used to this Magic Arena way that these things happen. All right. Tell if we still have a way out of this. Maybe something with Abandon the Post. Him doing him doing dumb things. Oh, that's frustrating. That's like a mistake I would never make in person, a mistake I wouldn't make on Magic Online, but on Arena. It just weirds me out the way that these things come about. Like those both the triggers should go on the stack at the same time, right? And then you get to pick and choose how they go. It's so weird that it's like, okay, here's one, you don't get to pick what it is, and then it offers you up the second one after that. Like that's so strange to me. I guess we've learned our lesson, but kind of frustrating. Not saying we would have won that game either, but yeah, we completely missed out on 6 stats, and we missed out on a lot of good gameplay there because that didn't work out how we anticipated it to. Alrighty, well, a reasonable enough hand here. We pick up a land. We'll see if we can't go into the full Salt Fest as we stall on 2 mana. See if we can make this happen again with the double Contortionist Troupe. It's so weird. Right, yeah, and if you caught the video yesterday, I can't just like bitch about people playing super slow in this anymore, as they're probably sitting there just with their finger trying to just push things to the board on their phone, and it just doesn't work. I'm getting like a little better at the controls. But I still ran into like multiple times today where it's like I have to like do my finger, and it's like, oh, it's not recognizing my finger. I got to tilt my phone and start doing it with my thumb. Like, this is convenient. I don't get what the deal is. 2 mana. There's no flash units to worry about here. Okay. So let's see how this goes. Like, we can make a 1/1 Contortionist Troupe next turn and play Stolen Vitality. Seems like a mountain of stats we might be able to take advantage of. It's old Slowgurk. All right, let's just look like we're offering up the trade. Well, Stolen Vitality doesn't first strike us here. I was like, I think I'm still okay with the trade if that's the way things are going to go. Better manually tap those manas before it tries to put the put the counters where we don't want it. See, this is what is so strange to me, right? There's one trigger. One trigger is all that comes up. So this trigger needs to happen, and then the next one's got to come up after that. Like, I'm so used to this in paper. You know, you say, I have 2 triggers, I'm going to put them on the stack like this. Or you playing Magic Online, both triggers pop up in that little box, and then you, like, pick and choose how you want your triggers to go down. But there's only one that comes up here. This is so weird to me that they would have it set up like this. But alright, the Harrier should be a safe target. So that happens, and now the second one shows up. Like, I can't be the only person that thinks that that's really non-intuitive. And what if I want to pick and choose the order? Like, what if these were different abilities? Like, I don't know. Maybe there's a way to change that in the settings or something. But I can't be the only one that thinks that that's a really strange way to have this work. Maybe if I push control before we go to our end step. Does that work? Does that fix it? Slowgurk's growing. The farmers are eccentric. Sure. You big boy, Slowgurk. You big. So when a land is put in your graveyard, he gets +1, right? You remove 3, you return it to hand. And he goes, when he leaves the battlefield, you put 3 land from your graveyard in your hand. Got it. I mean, it's kind of nice just to tell him he can't block. We jump in for big damage here. I think this is fine. I don't want to make a Stolen Vitality play here. I would love to make a Stolen Vitality play next turn. that would be good. But here I don't think we have it in us. And where are we going to put our counters next turn? That's the next big question we have. Kind of interested in going like improving the one Contortionist Troupe, but then leaving the second one at 1 mana, so that we kind of more easily maintain our coven, especially if he's going to come out here and maybe like play a bounce spell onto Harvesttide Sentry or something. I like having the 1 because it's very easy to have a 2 and a 3. It's the 1 and the 4 that are kind of hard to pick up. Big shit popping. Look at them big damages. That's it. So we want to go 1, 3, 4. Like if we boost the Harrier, boost the Contortionist Troupe. We still have a effing Coven if we do these in the wrong order. Then the other upside to this kind of thing is if we can get one of these 4 attackers through, we can also just kill with Stolen Vitality here. Dang, son. I didn't realize I was playing. You playing all the colors. Beloved Beggar. Okay. Alright, so what happens here? We say Slowgurk can't block. Then we just win the game. Okay. That's what happens here. He only has the 1 mana, right? Yeah. He doesn't have any units big enough to block the Harvest-Tide Sentry now. Let's just do it this way. Double check he can't get blocked and drop the Vitality. Got him. Alright, well, we figured out Contortionist Troupe. At least for those of you that watch the middle of the videos, we got through the game after figuring out how that dumb card works. I mean, that's so weird to me. So weird that there's no way just to pick and choose how to put that stuff on the stack. I mean, there might be. I can't be the first person that's run into that issue. I guarantee you there's a way to do it. I just don't know how to do it. But here, another pretty reasonable hand. If we do this curve of, Stinger into Harvest-Tide Sentry into 2/2 Contortionist Troupe, we can start passing out the tokens again. We also have the Festival Crasher to make up for the ones, and so this is fine. Okay. If you got the bounce spell, you got it. You can have the early information. Okay, same deal. We'll play the 2/2 Contortionist Troupe. Auto pay. It's going to give us a Coven, so we can attack with the Sentry now. And we'll Troupe up the Sentry. Hitting up the Circus, going to the old Cirque du Soleil with the Contortionist Troupe. Do they do the ribbon stuff there? I don't know. I haven't seen the show. He passes. Okay, well we can get around whatever his game is here. Nothing. Okay, interesting. Just actual do-nothings. Where do we put our Troupe token? Just on the Troupe itself? Or we want to put it on Festival Crasher? Or we could even put it on the Stinger. So many options. It's like I don't want to get like heavily invested in this Contortionist Troupe. I like to spread the counters out. I mean, he doesn't have the removal spell. If he had a removal spell, he'd have already played it. But we can hit the Festival Crasher. Maybe get us a boost for a Stolen Vitality next turn. Okay. The pivotal turn. What you got, my man? Okay, nothing we can do about that. So where does that leave us? With are we stuck making like a Stinger play? Like, we can try and trade the Stolen Vitality for the Festival Crasher. Otherwise, we need to be like Contortionist trooping up the Harvest-Tide Sentry. I think like we're mega hosed if we lose a unit. I think this is our only option is the Stinger. So we've gotten out of that mess. I think we want to continue to put counters on the Harvest Tide. I think that's okay. Then we can like double activate the Stinger next turn if we need to. We should still be coming in for big piles of damage, but it starts to fall apart, you know, if he adds like Digraph Horde, or even this thing's a small one, but he has to have like some kind of bigger play here. Got actual million cards in his hand. I kind of want to just continue to spread it out. This is fine. Like, I don't want to be all in on this Harvest Tide Sentry. He's gonna just get enough blockers in front of it. It's never just gonna get a kill. It looks pretty good here. As we see a board like this, that counter was looking pretty good on the Harvest Tide Sentry. So where are we at next turn? Say we attack with everything. He blocks the Sentry with the 3/2. He double blocks the Obsessive Astronomer. That's the highest value play he can make. Then he dies, right? We can hit for 7, hit for 5 with the Stinger, 2 with the Troupe. Is that too greedy? He's got this like this Startle mana hanging out in the back. What happens if he likes a less greedy block? Say we attack with everything. He blocks the Sentry with the Archivist. He blocks the Contortionist Troupe with the Siege Zombie. Okay. That plays out of the picture now. Still have a Coven. I think this is... Let's just punch it. Like they do in the Fast and the Furious. Punch the nos, bruh. Punch it. Okay, so that'll take him to 4. Don't want to play the land. We're going to go to Nighttime. We'll discard it to the Astronomer. Play with Fire is a big time draw. So if he say like taps out for Digraph Horde, okay, we win. Yay, I like winning. I like it. I like it. Got him. Okay, okay. Market a W. Fill out the mattress up slip. Got it. All right, on to the next one. Yeah, so nothing to get salty about. I feel bad. You read the old Reddit. People always out there bitching about HOAs. And it's like, here's why HOAs exist. Took a peek out the window. The neighbors decided to paint their house this like, I don't know. I assume if you like feed your baby peas and nothing but peas, and then it like vomits it up. Like this is the shade of green that they decided to look nice, and so it's like they started painting it like yesterday or the day before, and it's like I get to look at it and ask the wife, I'm like, do you think that's primer? Like, please tell me that's just primer, because that is fucking ugly. She's like, nope, that's not what people do with houses. That's just that ugly ass color for eternity. It's like, motherfucker. It's like, I'm hoping they're just selling it, right? Maybe they paint it and sell it, and somebody buys it and says like, well, you know, our fixer-upper thing is just to paint this house away from this hideous ass color. Fingers crossed. That's the thing. But that's why they make HOAs. Let me tell you, we gotta keep that stuff in check. Keep those property values in order. Here we can keep. We had a bunch of big pile of 2-drops and ready to go against Malibu's Most Wanted. Sounds like a Baywatch spinoff. Alright, well, Chaplain of Alm's pretty good against our hand. I don't want to be running Harvest-Tide Sentries into that. Okay, then are we ever just like willing to trade off the Obsessive Astronomer? It's like I think we want to just like hang on to the Astronomer more than we want these other things. Let's see what we can threaten with the Liberator. And the new question we ask ourselves as we pass the turn is, are we willing to trade the Liberator for a Chaplain of Alms? If they have the Flare of Faith. Like, I'd trade the Flare of Faith for the Outland Liberator. I think that's fine. But... Alright, so we picked up another Astronomer, so we can trade this one away now. Let's see. Probably just want to stop at 4 land and try to get some value out of this Brigand. Good. They mulliganed. They're down to 2 cards. And so if we can just push a bit of value out of these. I want to go for the Astronomer now. There is a very reasonable world we live in to where this dude just doesn't have a play here. And so may get to cycle off these Astronomer cards next turn. I'll take the damage here. We're not at risk of losing our health. And our entire plan just kind of like falls apart if that card in their hand was a combat trick. So that worked out perfectly. I think we can stop there. I imagine that we can get like the Festival Crasher going. I don't think we're going to do it here. We're threatening to +2 attack our team. So let's see how these blocks line up. He doesn't have any cards. Not real worried about it anymore. Daytime. Okay. Tap the Celestis and play his flyer. Sure. Knight's Rush, that's interesting. I think we could probably just get him. Probably just get him. We want to play the Stinger? I don't think so. Oh, hang on. No, I want to cancel. Let me make sure this mana gets tapped right. I do want to play the Stinger post-combat. Alright, well, let's see if we can run into Vanquish the Fallen. We'll just run it all out. Who worries about cards like that? Alright, I don't think we have to worry about it anymore. Not exactly sure on the text that makes it cheaper, but I think we're okay. Alright. Go us. Let's see if we can't finally push past the 4-win mark and get a little bit more rank ups, get a little bit more gems. I don't think I've ever seen that Planeswalker in my life. But I think we can probably hang on to this. The mana works. We have a couple 2-drops, so worry about these hands that have Abandon the Post in it, but right, it's just such a late game play. This is like an 8-drop. Okay, and then he's playing blue-green. If we can just kind of like stall the board out here a little bit, and then potentially get the Contortionist Troupe going, they shouldn't be able to take advantage of this. Like they have a really tough time ever answering a Contortionist Troupe. All the angles, my man. Alright, so we need to start with the Troupe. He can bounce it, and that's kind of annoying, but if it gets to stay on board, then it's quite good. Line ourselves up with a pretty big duel for dominance. So let's do this. Let's add the sentry. We've got to go ahead and push the control button. Go next. Not attacking. No attacks. To end turn. I want to put the counter here. Do we not get to stop anymore? Like, why doesn't the stack clear out and then we get to duel for dominance at the end of the turn? At the beginning of your end step, right? Because let's say I had 100 cards in our hand, right? This thing would resolve, we would have the chance to play some stuff, then we have to discard down. Like, I pushed the control button, why don't I get to play my card? This fucking game. Alright. I don't want to just run this into a counterspell. This would have been the perfect play while our opponent was tapped out. Oh boy. Yep. Oh, this is so dumb. Like I don't understand. Why didn't we become a 6/6? What happened there? We still had the Coven. Oh, the Crashers became a 3/3, and then our unit. Oh my god. This does not get more frustrating than this match has been. Like I don't know. Like these things are apparently intuitive to people. Like, oh my god. Serious. Like I don't know, that just really yanks my chain, right? I pushed the control. You could see like the little button show up down at the bottom of the screen. Like you push the control, and it says full control. Do I have to like hold the button? Is that what the problem was? I have to hold the button, don't I? Even though the thing is on the screen? Is that what the problem is? I needed to push shift control? Oh, it's fucking dumb. It's fucking dumb. Alright. Well, anyways. Can we win this game yet? How far away are we from winning this game? We can line up these big abandon the post type of plays. We can get 5 attack out of the Festival Crashers. So if we're looking at like 5, 8, 11. Can't quite win next turn. All right, our units are on the big side. Let's see how clever he gets with his attacks here. Assume he's gonna play like some kind of card. Yeah. So can we lethal next turn? That's the big thing we're trying to get at. We have 5 and 6. We're only gonna hit for 11 next turn. We're not gonna lethal. Let's just try and make sure we don't die. Still have. Oh no, we're gonna lose our coven. We're not gonna be able to attack with the sentry. Maybe. We'll see what we draw. So how do we feel about just going all in on this turn? Right? If we say your team can't block, like we can hit everything, then we hit for 11, takes him to 3. Not the hugest of fans of it. All right. Like if we could draw a unit next turn, I feel like we can really get something going here. Where the place we really would have gotten things going is if we gotten 2 for 0'd ourselves with the curse, and then had to spend two more cards on the thing that we were trying to keep ourselves from getting 2 for 0'd on. All right, lots of potential with this Festival Crasher, though. We just need opponent to be like a little greedy here. Stop highlighting my stop highlighting my sentry. Okay. Okay. We have to block or he just kills us in the air next turn. I have a really tough time just not dying next turn anyways. I don't think we can do it. We can add the Hound Tamer. If he just swings with everything, we're dead. He's really heavily incentivized to swing with everything. Uh-oh. 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 One time, dealer. One time. Oh, that gives him 5 attack. Fuck. All right. Well, this was silly. Like, I feel like I can talk about it a bit more once the game's over. But, like, the 2 games we lost, right? I mean, these are things I'm sure that I'll actually, come together with in time. But I think that everyone can agree that that's not super intuitive, right? Like, when we sit here, we call out the play that we want to make, and then like the game just does weird shit and it doesn't play out. And so like historically with these things, like as far as those contortionist troops go, I have no fucking idea how that works in this game. Like, right, if you have multiple triggers, you don't get to pick the order that they go on the stack. Like, that's insane to me. I have no idea how that works. There has to be a way to do it. I just don't know what that way is. Right? Because imagine we didn't have 2 contortionist troops. If it's just like different abilities, you don't want the game to just be like, oh, this is like Runeterra, left or right, And so that contortionist troop game where things came down in the order that we didn't want, and then missing out on like 6 activations, should have won that one. And then this one, I guess I've learned how to hold priority. But you understand what that play was, right? We're getting the Contortionist Troupe up to 5/5, so we needed the Contortionist Troupe counter to hit. Then the stack is cleared, and we get to play more shit. And so at that point, we could play the Duel for dominance onto the 5/5. Opponents tapped out, so they can't do anything about it. And then the duel for dominance just ends that creature, and we still have the 6/6 Contortionist Troupe on the board. And so as it goes into like the next turn, we just take 5 from that giant dude. As it goes into the next turn, we have to trade away 2 of our units just to deal with this 5/5. Like that game would have been easily winnable had that play worked out as we intended. But with the way it actually happened, he had the Nebelgeist as we went for it. That took away our Coven, so we missed out on the +1/+1 counter. We didn't even get the trade on his unit. Like, that was just insanely stupid. And so these are things like I'll bitch about it quite a bit, but I feel like as someone that has played competitive Magic for ages, as someone that has played tons and tons and tons, as you young bloods are out here, guarantee you I've logged more hours on Magic Online than you've played in Arena. That's like, I understand how those things work there. It's just a matter of figuring it out on Arena, but it'll come about. Things will be fine. We'll just bitch about it until we get there. But alrighty, well, let's get this one pulled up. We'll talk about it a little bit more. Okay, so here we go. And so yeah, this one turned out a little on the weird side of things, right? We got this kind of interesting base green start that looked like it was going to push itself into the green-red werewolves, and then like the werewolves just never showed up. Not like, it's not strange to me that like the uncommon didn't show up, or like Kessig Naturalist didn't show up. But it's just like the amount of werewolf we saw throughout the entire run was really strangely low. And again, I still haven't really like gathered and figured out whether or not these things feel like it's just some variance, or if this was an issue with being in bot draft. And so it's like, I don't fully understand how bot draft works in terms of how the cards are getting spread out. If they use this mountain of draft data to kind of like AI build the bots, or if it's more along the lines of there's the 10 2-color pairing combinations. Let's just kind of like spread those out amongst the bots, and then the black-red bot and the blue-green bot just specifically draft those colors with some kind of ranking amongst the cards. And if the latter is the case, as to where it's just like a super simple one where they're spreading out the rankings amongst the cards, then these red decks are extremely bad, right? You're really kind of expecting a bunch of blue drafters at your table. With Esper being the kind of like highlight of the colors of the format, you're expecting, a lot of blue-white, a lot of white-black, a lot of blue-black drafters, and then less so would be the kind of like off combinations. So like your blue-greens, your black-reds, and then even less so something like red-green, where both of the colors are pretty terrible. And so I'm not quite sure how that works out. Red-green would be in a much worse space if they're just randomly spreading them out right, because there's probably never going to be 2 blue-white drafters amongst the bots. But if it follows the AI in some way, then we're just kind of back to normal, and it is what it is. We'll have to kind of learn as we go how to kind of like maximize the bots. If you're familiar with our work in Runeterra, we maximized the draft system there quite a bit. We were extremely good at min-maxing and maintaining like how the flow of the packs was going to go. But not exactly sure how the system works here. But that could have been, what part of the problem was. But I still think we ended up with a pretty good deck. The Fangblade Brigands were great top end. The Contortionist Troupe theme that we pieced together worked quite good. I like that we picked up the things like the Festival Crashers to have, kind of the one attack units to maximize our troops, and how all of this came together. This, won't be your standard red-green werewolfy style deck, but I think I liked where this landed. We could have, I hope at least you got to see in that last game as well how something like where you at Abandon the Post, where this should be quite good. That should have just straight up won us the game in the previous one. And then we're still even building up to these spaces as to where we have double Festival Crasher we might be able to kill with Abandon the Post. And then anytime you just have a big board stall, it plays nicely there as well. And so I was hoping we get to, kind of showcase Abandon the Post a little bit here. Didn't exactly come together in that game due to my lack of knowledge of how some of these things work. But a pretty powerful little thing that we had here as well. So yeah, not a bad collection of cards. I think this was a reasonable way for a deck that starts out with Clear Shot and then only has like good kind of greenish cards rolling around, a nice way to kind of roll with the punches there and piece together a reasonable deck. Again, I fully take blame for 2 of those losses. I think that Contortionist Troupe trigger game we should have won, and I think that last game we just lost we should have won. I feel like this was a much better than 50% win rate deck. But we can, jump into the draft as well. I thought we handled this pretty reasonably. This was a not good pack 1. I don't think we can ever come out and do something like take Beloved Beggar when Clear Shot exists in the pack. This is just premier removal. And so very happy to start with the Clear Shot. Pack 2 gets a little awkward. There's no good green cards. I'm not wanting to draft green-red, so I'm not going to take the Festival Crasher. And then amongst all of these turds, the only good cards would be Falcon Abomination and the Ecstatic Awakener. There is, again, like kind of argument to take the Falcon Abomination. If we're going to end up in blue-green, we would want to have this. If we're going to end up in green-black, the Ecstatic Awakener isn't super high valued there. But in the worlds where we end up in like white-black or black-blue, the Awakener is just leagues better than a lot of these other cards. So I think that was a reasonable take. I understand some argument with taking Falcon Abomination over this, though. Then in pack 2, another reasonably weak set. The Winterthorn Blessing, as we start with Clear Shot, I'm happy enough to give it a shot. If we end up in blue-green, the Clear Shot Blessing are just the premier uncommons in the blue-green deck. And so if that's where we land, it's fine. We're not missing out on much in Dreadhound. I think this was a reasonable pick in the Winterthorn Blessing. Hound Tamer is good as well. Again, if we're going to end up in blue-green, it's very fantastic. Even if we don't end up in blue-green, it's just better than all of these black cards that are available to us here. Then I think we just sort of get locked in. Like, I can't be taking Novice Occultist. This card's too bad. I could see an argument for Flesh Taker. And then if you did take some of these other black cards earlier, we would have probably taken Flesh Taker, right? If you come back to like our pick 3, if you had taken Dreadhound over Winterthorn Blessing, at pick 4, you probably take the Ecstatic Awakener. At pick 5, you're taking Flesh Taker. Like, I see that's how you get to, a pretty reasonable white-black start. 2 Ecstatic Awakeners, Flesh Taker, and then the Dreadhound. But I was happy enough with how this played out. I am a big fan of the blue-green deck, and so I'm reasonably ecstatic about taking some of those cards. See, then as you push on through here, like the white-black cards really kind of fall off. I don't like Clarion Cathars. That's 2 packs with no pick, 3 packs with no pick. I'm not going to find anything the rest of the way. Whereas, from this green-red stuff, this is where you're still hoping to be picking up reasonable playables. Fangblade Brigand at 6 is good. Contortionist Troupe at 7 is good. Brigand at 8 is good. Timberland Guide, it's fillery, but it's a 2-drop in this format. And then Festival Crashers at 10. Like, that's the real perk of drafting green and red, being the kind of dregs of the dregs of the colors in this format. But I really feel like we just kind of like low rolled from this point forward. Like, the Play with Fire was fine. The Contortionist Troupe is of course fine, but we ran into some like really this is where it starts to really kind of fade. There are 1, 2, 5 red green commons. It's just we're wanting Midnight Lightning Bolts and the Coven 3 attack 2-drop, and they're just not quite falling through here. But nonetheless, I mean, Harvesttide Sentry at 8, Stolen Vitality at 10. We're still getting good picks throughout the way. I was expecting kind of more like werewolfy things to be showing up. Harvesttide Sentry's fine. Troop, yeah, I mean, these picks are all reasonable. We aren't having to be like, we did have to 4th pick a Lambolt Harrier, but it's not like that was the worst thing was happening. We're picking up good cards the majority of the way through. So yeah, not a bad draft, not a bad one. That one was on me. That draft was certainly better than it should have ended. So collect our pittance of gems, grab our pack, open them up real quick, and we'll call it a day. So what do we got here? Graveyard Trespasser. Loved this in limited. This dude is this lady is fantastic in limited. I'm happy to draft those anytime. What else we got? Another one. More Graveyard Trespassers. Good stuff. And the last one. Last but not least, what do we got here? Burn Down the House. Excellent. Picking up some wild cards. Looking good, looking good. Yeah, I've been looking to put together some of the Epiphany decks in Standard, and so the way we've kind of pieced this together was play like we started out with like kind of like green-white humans, picking up a lot of the like brutal Cathar kind of units that pivoted into a nice like humans Boros deck. to where we started picking up a bunch of the dragons, and then we pivoted the dragons into the green-red ramp. This week we took the green-red ramp and been playing the teamer deck that the dude played at Worlds. And now that we've picked up like a lot of the lands in the teamer deck, I think we're pretty well positioned to kind of like switch over to Epiphany decks if we want to do that. And then we're kind of like covering off on the extent of standard. And that's been pretty good. Like we're 3 weeks in, we've only spent $100. We've been drafting a ton, and to be able to assemble a big chunk of the standard decks, like I think we can get together mono white pretty much in its entirety. Mono green I would have to look at. We haven't really tried to put together mono green, but the ramp decks we can piece together, and now that we're getting close to putting together some of the Epiphany decks, I think we'd have to just look at like blue red Epiphany. We couldn't play like Grixis, but the options are there for just to go into that. Pretty cool. It's been pretty easy to do. But nonetheless, that is going to do it for us today. I hope you all enjoyed this circus of a draft. You maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.